England versus Australia. The fourth Ashes test. Yes, the Ashes resumes after an 8-day break. Old Trafford. The football stadium is often called as the theatre of dreams. Whether the cricket ground will be called the theatre of dreams is yet to be debated, because Australia are 2-1 up in heading into Old Trafford. If they win or draw at Old Trafford, they will take one step closer in retaining the Ashes. In fact, they would have retained the Ashes. If they win at Old Trafford, after 22 years, they would have broken the jinx. But England are chasing an even bigger slice of history, because if they win at Old Trafford, then everything is to play for at the Oval. Because only once in the 146 year of Test cricket history has a team bounced back from 0-2 down to win 3-2. In this particular preview, I am going to tell you some of the very interesting numbers that make this series even more interesting, because this series has lived up to the hype. Look at the margins: 2 wickets, then you won by 3 wickets, and then you won by 43 runs. Those are very, very fine margins. England are a team that will not take it lying down. Australia will be determined to ensure that they overcome the blip that they had at Leeds and go on to win at Old Trafford. Remember, in 2019, when Australia were in the rebuilding phase after Sandpapergate, Australia had retained the Ashes at Old Trafford, because they had won it in 2017, and because of that, in 2019 when they won it in England, it was truly a remarkable feat indeed. So, heading into this Old Trafford test match, what all is at stake? Number one, England would be hoping to make it 2-2. If they do that, the Oval match is going to be an absolute classic for the ages. No team in the history of the 21st century has ever bounced back from 0-2 deficit to win 3-2. Now, one thing has happened though in the 21st century. In 2003, England had lost the first 2 tests thanks to Graham Smith's double centuries. But later on, they bounced back and they levelled it 2-2. I mean, if you look at it, England in that final test at the Oval, they played like a team possessed and somehow got the better of South Africa, and that's why they could go away with their heads held high. But then 2-2 may not be enough for England, because if it's a drawn series, Australia retain the Ashes yet again. Now, what are the chances that England can actually bounce back? Because at this point in time, it's important to know that England are already facing a lot of odds. But how difficult is it to do it against Australia? So, in a recent statistical study that was done by one prominent statistical website, it counted the sample size from 2010 to 2023 so far. A total of 229 series. This has included 2 test series, 3 test series, 4 test series, 5 test series. The length is not a concern here. Teams have come back to win. After already trailing, teams have come back to win in just 11 series. 11 series, which is 4.8%. 229 divided by 229 into 100, 4.8%. Now, that does not inspire a lot of confidence when you look at England in that sense, because it is very tough. Yes, it has happened in the past that teams bouncing back from a 3-test series down 1-0, they have done it. India won it in 2001. India have won it on multiple occasions, even in 2020 and 2021. So, a 4-test series or a 3-test series, the chances of a comeback are much, much higher. And that is what it is said. In series of 5 tests, the percentage has increased to 9.1, which is almost double that. But 1 in 20 series. That means if a team has to win from coming back from behind, it has happened only 11 times. So, 1 in every 20 series, this kind of results happen. Can England do that? Because At home, they have the best conditions. This is the best opportunity for them. They have gotten the momentum from Leeds, and that is why you can see England may have a spring in their steps heading into Old Trafford. But this is Australia, a team that has achieved the grand slam when it comes to major ICC events, and winning in England for them has been nothing new. They have done it consistently. In that period from 1989 to 2005, they won 3 series, 1993, 1997 and 2001. So winning for them in England is nothing new, which is why this particular statistic is equally damning, because doing it against Australia, you have to have the courage and the guts of India, because against Australia since 1990, the sample size, if you look at it, 7 nations have won only 26 series. From 1990 against Australia, only in 6 series has opposition come from behind to win. And guess which team has done it the most? You guessed it, India. India have bounced back from being 1-0 down, and they have managed to ensure that they have come back from behind to win against Australia. You thought 2001 was spectacular? 2017, when they lost the first test in Pune, they bounced back and then they won it 2-1. 2020, 2021 in Australia, bowled out for 36 in Adelaide, but then came back strongly to win Melbourne, draw in Sydney and then win in Brisbane. So, only in 6 series has the opposition come from behind to win, but India have done it the most times against Australia. England also have done it, but not on a frequent basis. If you look at when was the last time England managed to win after being 1-0 down in the series? You guessed it, 2005. The year that changed England and world cricket. England had lost the Lord's Test, but then somehow they bounced back and won Edgbaston in an absolute thriller by 2 runs. Then a draw happened in Edgbaston, and then you won in Trent Bridge and at the Oval. So that is why great emphasis has to be laid on the fact that it is not easy coming back from behind against Australia. England will really have to play an inspired level of cricket to ensure that they get back on level terms and then win it. If there is one team that can really push for a result, it is England in this modern era, because last 13 years, if you look at it, 81% of tests have ended in wins. Draw is totally out of the equation. 81% of it has come in wins or results for the opponents. So that is why this is a damning statistic that all of Australia will be wary about. From last year, England's top run rate has been over 5. Bazball cricket has ensured that England up the scoring rate, and they do it in such a way that it gives them enough time to force a result. 6.5, 101 overs, 657 against Pakistan at Rawalpindi. That was the limits of absolute dazzling cricket that Bazball can achieve. But at the same time, you've seen, if the situation is not right and you adopt Bazball, it can backfire. A better bowling attack will do that. So, England will have to be wary about Australia's bowling attack, because Pakistan, South Africa and also New Zealand, their bowling attacks were put to the sword and they withered away. Australia might not be that. But the mental baggage of history. Remember, currently a journalist had asked Pat Cummins, do you think England are on top, and do you think England have the momentum heading into the Old Trafford test? At that time, Pat Cummins gave a simple 2-letter answer, no. The journalist pressed on, why? 2-1. And that is the reason. Australia are not trailing 2-1, they are leading 2-1. And they have held the Ashes since 2017. They won it 4-0. In 2019 in England, they drew it 2-2. 2021 they won it 4-0, and now they are leading 2-1. One more win or a draw and Australia will have retained the Ashes for the 4th consecutive time. There is also a baggage of history for England. Remember, we were all talking about how Leeds can be the miracle maker for England. It had happened now. Now in Old Trafford, Australia had won in 2019. It took a Steve Smith masterclass 211 that ensured Australia got to their providence, and that is why now they will be heading into Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, with plenty of confidence. And also this baggage of history, We are all thinking that Australia's 22-year itch is much, much more. Remember, only once in the history of 146 years of Test cricket has a team come back from 0-2 down to win 3-2. And that was Don Bradman's Australia. Don Bradman's Australia achieved a level of brilliance that no other team could have. Remember, this 0-2 down and winning 3-2 was incredibly Bradman's first series as captain. And 36-37, when rain had pounded Melbourne on the third test, Australia were 200. England declared at 76 for 9. You thought Bazball was something new. 36-37, that was a totally different era. Bradman decided to reverse the batting order. He said, the pitch is so bad and the technique of the tail-enders are so bad, they will not connect. And it worked. Jack Fingleton and Don Bradman had a partnership of 347 for the 7th wicket. Australia won that test. Then they won it in Adelaide to make it 2-2 and then spectacularly achieved victory in Melbourne to win it 3-2. So all the talk of 36-37 is buzzing. England are confident that they can do it, but it is not easy coming back against Australia. And so, looking at the way how it is, Australia, they hold the ace heading into this 2-1 up, and one hopes that as an Australian fan, they win it in England. But England, if they come back and make it 2-2, do not be surprised, because this Ashes test and this Ashes series promises to be yet another epic. And looking at the way how England have this spring up after Leeds, it promises to be something brilliant in the making in the theatre of dreams. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.